world. This is Willy Bearden, aka Willie. Today I got a new nickname, was Fire Marshal Bill, and I'll explain that later. Then we got Mindy.
How
Mindy's
you doing,
back.
guys?
Yeah, here we are. We're updating about all of like what's happening with the Undercover Dumpster Fire and just what we've been working on every day. And so, Mindy, how was your day so far? Just give me the aerial view. What was
Yeah,
going on
I
in
did
your
two podcasts, was talking about like a whole bunch of different things. And the biggest thing is helping veterans get tax breaks for their housing. And so I meet with the senator, hopefully um, next week or something like that. They're supposed to let me so I decided that I wrote an email and everybody was like, nobody's going to answer you. Da, da, da. Well, I got the email back. And when they said that, it was like, what do you mean no one's going to answer me? So I just took it to social media and I was like, put it on blast. I was like,
yeah.
okay, nobody's going to answer me, huh? And all of a sudden I got this answer like within a day. It's
They
so
were like,
funny how
oh,
that works.
yeah, it is. You know how to do it. It's advocacy. You're advocating in your for
Yeah.
yourself.
And I mean, with the prices going up and people literally getting kicked out of their houses, it breaks my heart. It's like,
Yeah,
and I think about it when I get older, like I will hope that somebody would advocate for me when I have
exactly.
nobody to advocate for
Yeah,
myself.
I hope
And I'll
so.
do it now. And that way, karma, hey.
Yes, exactly. No, that's great. Yeah, and you got your pulse on the veteran stuff going on, which is awesome. And yeah, I'll add to that. Like today, I was at the Colorado State Capitol, like we've been talking about, and I had this. So what I'm noticing is, so it went well, by the way.
Good.
And but what I'm noticing is that it is like a spiritual battle, like a good and evil battle when we're
Oh,
in
yeah.
this like counter, like just the topic of trafficking and sexual abuse and like
Mhm.
pedophilia and all this stuff. Like it's very, I can sense it. So like today, I'll just put it this way. Yesterday I ran 7 laps this way, and then today I ran 7 laps this way. And
Nice.
for some reason I just felt like I had to, and then I ran another 7 laps, and
Jeez
I just,
Louise.
yeah, like right around the building itself, like going up and over all the
Okay.
stairs.
I was like, gosh, did you do
And
like 100 miles by
I
now?
did. I think I forgot to start my Strava. I use Strava to track stuff, and I can see like my where I've run or whatever.
Right.
And I forgot to start it. I had already ran like 3 hours, and so I think I ended with like 12 or 14 miles or something in there. Um, and but I was running with the pack too, the 40-pound pack,
Oh
and
my gosh.
like a weight vest, and then they because it was a rally. And this is my first time, so I don't really know what I was getting into. And then I put on like this vest. And then I had to buy these vests for fire or not fire marshals, for marshals of the event.
Yeah.
And we really didn't even have like the steps where we had reserved. There's no real traffic there, and all the legislators come and walk around these other sides. So we actually didn't even use the steps. Um, we were just linked up with these. There was some people there that were. I should have wrote it down because I was running around, but with the
Sure.
flag. But they were all from having disabilities, and they were saying that their funding got cut for caregivers,
Oh,
and
no.
yeah, so like they had a bunch of people out there with special needs, and then I'm like, hey, I'm one of you. You look at me. I'm out here running with a fire helmet, and I have a
Right.
flag, and I've had PTSD my whole life, I think, from the beginning, and then it just got worse
Right.
over time. So, and I'm
We
like,
just
I
didn't
can
have a
even
name for it with childhood trauma. Now they got all
they
neurodivergent and da 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 da
right
da.
stuff I don't even know, and I'm in this advanced human behavior stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
wanted to sign up, so I'm signing up for that level 1.
awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
that's oh yeah, totally. So
I was like, all right,
yeah,
let me jump on board and let's
you
go.
should. I love that, man. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to doing some more of that stuff. Every time I talk to people, then I get like more interested in how to ask questions and like
Right.
what to observe and pay attention to. And it's so cool. It's so much fun. And saying hi to people that I wouldn't normally say hi to, that was something that came out of that program.
good.
Up to this point that, and today would look like me, it was like going up to the homeless dude and being like, I see you, brother, and then he's looking at me. And then I had one guy that came off the bus and he was like, that's a real one right there. This
Aw,
like real
that's
short
so
dude.
sweet.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I see you too." And so it was good and it was peaceful. There
Good.
wasn't any like nobody. The sad part in my mind was that when I'm running with a flag, I'm holding a sign that says "Honk for Veterans." Like, I forget exactly. I brought a bunch of signs and we just made them real quick, and like most people didn't honk, and I'm like, and I kept saying this, like, what is happening right now? And even the legislators walking by, they were like, I don't know. Like, a lot of them were like, I don't know. Man, I don't know what's going on.
Well,
And
it's almost like they want to be muted, or they just want to be blind to the fact that we're in trouble. Like, oh, if I don't say anything, then I can't see it.
yes, exactly. And even the legislators, like, I was like waving the honk thing. And one guy was like, I'm honking right now. He's walking. And, he's like,
That's great, though.
yeah, but that part was cool to see. There were actually a lot of people that, I mean, we made a lot of noise for having a small group,
Good.
and and then the disability people, I ended up connecting with like somebody from the news, and
Good.
and I told them, hey, we're gonna be back, and one of these rallies that we're doing, and we're not to give all the information out yet, but one of them will have 1,000 people,
Good.
and there's some law that's going to come up, and I don't want to get into the details of it, but I'll just say that, because timing, there's a lot of other people involved
Sure.
in it. But but long story just to say that, actually, I'll tell it because it was published. Flatirons again. Flatirons
Yes,
said
I
that,
am so glad that Jim said that
yeah,
basically we need to stop prostitution, because that's exactly what they want to do. They want
yeah,
to make prostitution legal in Colorado as the first state. And basically you're just criminalizing it. You're decriminalizing it basically and sending the kids to the wolves. Not
yeah,
okay.
exactly. And all to have like girls have a way to college is what one of the parts that I heard today, and I was like, "That's
Yeah, they
why
like to say that about strippers too.
right? Yeah, strippers are paying for college. Yeah, right.
Right.
But I mean, in theory, why don't we fix the education system then? If that's what
Right.
we're talking about. Oh, Xavier, exactly. We're gonna add Xavier first for a minute. He just showed up. We're gonna have to give him a hard time though. Okay, ready?
Oh yeah.
Ready? He's late. All right.
Hey, Mr. Late Guy.
What's up, lateness McGee?
We're gonna call you Late Slate.
Hey, at least I saw you join on this time, bro. Because I was like, I haven't set this set up so I can see. But hey, yeah, we're gonna give you a hard time about being late, though, man.
Oh, okay.
So that just means we like you, but we gotta give you a hard time, okay?
All right, I deserve that one.
That's how it goes. How
I
you
deserve
doing,
that.
man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just rest and restore.
Yeah.
There we go. Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what was your experience, Xavier, today at the Capitol?
I was actually I was surprised. It was an experiment. We'll say that. We learned a lot from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because there was like the disability people, and then there was us, and
all the state senate was it? Yeah, that was like pretty convenient. We're doing a walk by.
right, the whole thing. Yeah, they
So
all
what do you
walked
think
by.
about the new laws that are trying to pass? That's what Willie and I were just talking about. Have you heard about it as well?
The sex trafficking one where it's like legalizing prostitution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because you're young, so I want to hear from a young voice too. Like, what do you think about that?
Let's see. The details of the bill, I'm not sure, but from what I've heard of it, basically trying to legalize prostitution.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the right direction, put it that way. I feel like if you're gonna go either direction, probably don't go south,
Yeah.
That's progress. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Because I mean, I get it. It's a different age. Like, girls are on like OnlyFans. Like, that's a new thing, but I think what they're doing is not making that safer. They're making it easier to do things that are going to put you
Well, I
in
mean,
that situation.
OnlyFans is also a form of prostitution and
Yeah.
trafficking that people don't realize. Like they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
sold and bought and then told they have to go on camera. They have to do certain things. They have to enact with other girls and other men. And it's gotten to the point where where I just found out there's like 12 and 14-year-olds
Oh
posing as
no.
like 18-year-olds going
Oh
with like
hell no.
30-year-old men. It's just disgusting.
Oh hell no. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, so I have all these OnlyFans people starting to try to friend me. I'm all block, 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 block,
I
block,
get those a lot too on the
block.
Instagram.
How you
Yeah.
doing? Hello, block.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Well, on that note, just from a profiler perspective, like I can see, I'm not going to tell all the secrets, but I'm going to just tell you that that I've entertained conversations with people like that are coming to me. They're like trying to talk. I can see a mile away, social
Yeah.
media and the DM, and I wouldn't recommend that to everybody, and I wouldn't recommend it for very long, but as a person that essentially looks for people who are being trafficked,
Right,
and listens for that. Like I have entertained people, and sometimes they'll just block me as soon as they figure out what I'm doing. And it's
right.
not hard. I'm not hiding it, but they don't actually even look at my page or nothing. Because if they did, they'd be like, "No, I'm not talking to this guy." But I've asked, like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, are you safe? And are you like free?" And sometimes people will say stuff, and it's like the Freudian slip. They'll say like, I can't talk right now. I'm like, all right, I know what's happening
Right.
now. Yeah.
Well, because they're
And
being recorded too.
yeah, so they'll exit out real quick, and I'm like, all right. And the last one, she kept. It's not might even be a she. It might just be someone else messaging or an AI. Who knows?
Right.
But the way that they responded, I can tell whether or not they're, being controlled. And
Exactly.
and then I can't get into details because people have to go through the training to get it all the details. But I'd say there are ways to get people to tell you what you want to hear, and things that they would tell you without, like, normally they wouldn't say something, but there are
Right.
strategies to get them to say stuff. And that's what I listen for. It's also counseling, like, because I'm a counselor background, and that I'm trained to, like, connect with people and ask questions and stuff like that. But anyway, that's a long thing to say. Yeah, OnlyFans and on those like websites, or like, come subscribe for me right now, and that's trafficking stuff a lot of times, like you said.
Isn't there another one too? I can't remember like what the other one is, but there's just like what they're finding out is that if this one OnlyFans doesn't work, they switch them to something else. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
basically they're just trying to figure out like what way, through Facebook, through Instagram, through all these things. And I'm like, look, I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
OnlyFans, nothing, delete, block, all this other stuff, especially if they're looking like if they look too young or if they look just off the
Exactly.
wall.
Yeah. See, and I'm trained to look at nonverbal communication, and this makes me sound like a super nerd, but for my free time, like a couple years ago, I like studied the FBI nonverbal communication handbook, or like dictionary,
Okay.
and then I organized them by, like, this is what your eyes do when you're afraid, or this is what your eyes do when you're angry, and it did everything about
Nice.
afraid and angry all through the body, because it was actually an acting exercise. I was like trying to figure out, how do I not say something that I don't. So I was having anxiety, is what it was.
Right.
And then it was coming out on camera, and I had to like figure out what are they seeing that is saying anxiety. But that's absolutely helpful as a profiler, or like one in
Right.
training way, is just learning to look at, are they being truthful, and and understanding, like, a lot of times I don't even listen to what somebody says. I'm actually like looking peripherally around them as they're talking to me, seeing if anything is off. um and sometimes, like, people will hide their hands, and like all that stuff means something. And I'll just tell you, I don't do it to you, because I don't. You're my
He's
friends,
like, go
and
ahead, I don't
You got me
mind.
one
Tell me what
time.
I'm
You got me one
doing.
I
time.
don't. No, I only use it because it's like a skill set,
Yeah.
and I don't. When I'm trying to look for things, then it can be kind of intrusive, and I don't want to be seen as somebody who's like trying to get in someone's head. Although I feel like I can if I need to. And that's from being a counselor, man. Like I can
Right.
challenge people in a way, they don't realize
I
they're
mean, I
doing
think as a
damage.
nurse, I accidentally do that I mean, I'm
You
assessing
do.
people everywhere. I go to the gym and I'm like, hey, is your blood pressure okay? Or your back okay? And people are like,
Yep.
what are you talking about? I'm like, well, your face looks like this and your colors are
You
this. And they're like, are you
you got
tripping?
it
I'm
too.
like, I can't
Yep.
help it. Then they'll
And
come back to me
Xavier,
and they're like, I went to my doctor because you freaked me out and I got on blood pressure medications. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
you saw it. I was gonna say, if you're paying attention at all, you can see, right, Xavier. I know
It's
you.
like the
Yeah.
micro, it's like a sense. It's like a inherent, you can just like automatically tell when somebody's not behaving how a
Yes.
regular human would behave.
Right. Those
Exactly.
micro
Yeah.
expressions.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not
So
hard to tell whatsoever.
yeah, and you can go really far with that kind of stuff and figure out like I can't share certain things because they're like copywritten or like um they're what do you call it when yeah, copywritten. It's just I can't share some of the trade kind of process unless you go through the training. But long story short, those micro expressions are all like an example of deception, and deception can be rated, like rated on a scale, and what like how much of a percentage are they? Oh, we lost her.
Oh
We
no.
lost her. Her battery probably went dead. But
Oh no.
anyway, yeah, it's a fun thing. And today, like being on the Capitol, I said earlier that it was like a spiritual thing. I felt like at one point, bro, like I actually like called out a demon out of a guy, and I was like, I don't
I
even know
saw you
what.
over across the street.
Yeah,
Was
I
he
was
like
like, I don't even
freaking
know what
out?
I'm doing right
Yeah.
now, honestly. Like this dude showed he like I was kind of walking around with the people that were picketing about or like rallying about disability funding
Yeah.
being cut, and this guy pulls up and he's like banging on the his steering wheel really bad, and he was like angry and like and I walked over and looked at him and he wouldn't look at me. So that's how I already know, like, oh, you won't look at me because a real one will look at me in the eyes, even for a split
Mhm.
second. Even if you're paranoid, they'll still look at you, like
Yeah. Yeah.
when you don't look, it's like, oh, you see something in me, don't you? And I already know that I have, kind of a spiritual light in me. And I've been even called phosphorus or, which is like, a light bearer
Yeah.
and before and that I don't understand all that stuff, but I just know that I felt like I had to tell that demon to like get out of that guy
Yeah.
and let him go and all that. What was weird is the guy like his like shoulders like dropped
Really? You
a
watched it
little,
like released?
and I've never done that in my life. I've never done that. I was like, what? I'm like aware of what's happening, and I'm also
Oh,
doing it at the same time. And that's how. Oh, Mindy's coming back. That's how you know you're in a spiritual battle, man. Because like
is it? Yeah.
yeah, it just took over, and I was like, oh, I guess we're gonna do this right now and tell this
I've
demon, this
I've had
dude.
the same thing. It's like a different circumstance. It was from a while ago, but at one point I had to like get on this dude, right? Just because I didn't want him to be where he was at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like something had just came into me. It was like an energy, and like something came out of me that like is
Mm-hmm.
not a regular
Yeah.
behavior of mine, And like
Yeah.
it was like every word was like perfectly placed to like the direct manner. And like I remember watching his face, like he started covering his mouth and like
Oh,
doing like
dang.
this type of stuff. And then I started calling him out for it on the spot.
Oh,
And then
wow.
look at
Yep.
you covering your face right now. Like it was, yeah.
Mm.
And so like things like that really,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
wild. I mean, I think you can. I never try to push my beliefs on anybody ever. I feel like you can watch me and just wonder, and then have your own journey. But I have to be true to mine, and I understand that as the Holy Spirit, like this. it's like something happens and then within me, and I don't know if it comes down on me. I feel like it comes from within, and it like kind of happens. And like today, you know, like Mindy, I was just saying, like, I cast out a demon out of a guy in the name of Jesus. I was like, in the name of Jesus, you let him go. And I'm like, and the guy would not look at me at all. And
Oh, wow.
it was wild. And that's why I was saying to Xavier, like this, and Mindy, we talked about earlier, this is really a spiritual battle. There's a spiritual piece to this that is pretty wild. And because think about how nasty some of these behaviors are in, not that guy, I don't even know that guy, I just knew something was, that's the profiler or the discernment or whatever you want to call all of that. But
doesn't help when your dude is satanic out there.
Exactly, right. He's celebrating it in the office. Not cool. It's from, you know, and that comes from a verified source. And also, you know, people in the community are aware of it. So it's like, you know, same thing as Lucifer, the horse that's out by the airport. His eyes glow red, and it like
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the guy that built it died. He like finished it and it fell on him and killed him. And then now they have it up, like with his eyes all red and crazy sounding. And my kids, I mean, it's a cool, from an art perspective, it's cool. They call it blue.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way because I lived there, and when I saw that blue, I was excited. You know, I thought like, oh, this
It's
blue horse, this is my favorite color.
Yeah, but they call it Lucifer. So Lucifer, like Lucifer the devil. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's this spiritual thing going on there. We just can't ignore in this space. And I don't want to make this whole thing about spiritual because then it gets weird. People freak out. But I'm just calling a spade a spade. Like that was some spiritual stuff. And it's not always like that, I don't think. In my opinion, like I've never in my life said, get out of him. And name of Jesus, go, you know, and then saw his shoulders drop, and I was like, I guess God's teaching me something right now. And because I think normally I would just smile at him and be like, hey man, like try to get him to laugh or something, which is what I usually do. And Xavier saw a little bit of that today. I was just so tired, bro. I had 40 pounds.
I didn't seem like it. You were about
40 pounds.
Man was running down the street up and down, doing push-ups in the rain.
It was
I saw that weather was gnarly. Lisa sent me a little video, and I was like, oh my God. Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, but no, my shoulders would be sore, but you know, when I see stuff like that, I made a little slogan in my head, and I was like, give me the rain, give me the pain, give me the rain, you know. And that's what I was saying in my head when, you know, I'm running. Plus then I think about who I'm running for. And like firefighters, you'd have 100 pounds easy. Same with veterans,
right?
Like military. So 40 pounds is like, it's heavy, but it's also like
it's like a little baby.
It's a baby ruck, you know. And so you get used to carrying weight, and you get used to keep pushing yourself a little farther, a little harder, you know, trying to just grow. And it gets in your DNA where you just choose the hard way, and you go as, you know. And that's why running that Capitol, like I went around 7 times, and then me and Xavier went around the inside and did like 7 times around the building itself. And, you know, and that was, you know, that was fun. And it was also uphill. And there's some analogies there, like this thing that we're doing is a climb. And I'd like to be able to make any effect on something that's big, like a disaster, like the human trafficking and all this stuff is a disaster. And it should be treated like one, like just like when you had the pandemic. And when, I mean, I'm saying, I don't want to dig off
the pandemic.
No,
I was just talking about that earlier in 2 podcasts, actually.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of
because it's a plan. I mean, I'm like, okay, so if we basically cure you, how's the medical personnel going to get any money? So of course, big pharma's in it because let me give you the jab. Let me, I was forced to
Yeah.
get 3 of them before I could even go to Colombia. And I was like, what is this
Phase
mess?
2
Like,
bioweapon.
I'm not doing any more injections.
Right. Yeah. So the cool thing with this show is it's Undercover Dumpster Fire. So that can be applied as a category, or a noun, I guess you could call it. And thinking of all this trafficking, that's like a giant undercover dumpster fire. Like that is a hot, smelly mess, and we're just getting started as a country with it. Because then, oh, by the way, there's war also, and
Right.
and then
And they basically said, if you want to, literally in these words, if you want to threaten America, just realize that we are not taking any threats and we will kill you. I was like, my jaw like dropped to the floor. I was like, that's a bold statement. And they were saying it over and like in the
yeah,
White House, they're like, we don't care. I was like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah. I did.
Warning.
I had like 15 minutes today. I was so tired. I was like, I need to lay down while I do like these therapies and stuff. So then, because I'm tired, like it was a lot of running around. Anyway, I turned on the TV real quick and then YouTube, and then there was Trump, and I ended up subscribing to his. There's like a White House update that you can get pushed to your phone because I don't watch the news, and
Right.
I don't have time. Like I would, but I just don't take the time to like. And plus, I also think it's usually biased.
Well, it's paid. So the left will pay or the right will pay. And whoever the multimillionaire is, they're directing who they get to, feed on.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, getting some information and then practicing being curious and practicing like what is this? How true and factual is it based on what you know? I think that's critical thinking, and that's super important.
Right.
Right? Because if you get some information, I'm like, well, at least I'm going to get the official notification that comes from the White House. So like, it's not a news, like
How do you get those? Is that on social media or is it like
it was on YouTube.
whitehouse.gov?
It was
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was on YouTube. So what was it called? Because I got a text. That's what it was. It was like sign up for this text.
Huh.
Yeah, look. So he puts his photo on there, and I was like, dang, he looks like a scary dude. But also, what he's doing, man, you would have to have some like steel. You know what I'm talking about to be able to like do what he's doing.
Raspolowski's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but you can sign up. So it's called community.com. Oh no, m.community.com.
Okay.
And you go on there, and then it'll just text the thing, and anyway, long story just to say, it's pretty simple. Look, Xavier's doing it right now. But, but yeah, as far as outcomes though, I think the next time I would like to do another one, but partner with organizations that are already doing, and because I think it was an
So they
eye-opener.
could bring their people in.
Yeah, and then I had to start somewhere. That's the first time I've ever organized any kind of. I've never done that in my life. Organize a rally, and even to think about doing one, it was like, what the heck am I doing with my life right now? I even said that today. I was like, what am I doing? Look at me. What's happening? I'm running down the street carrying a flag, and I got a helmet on. And it's raining, and I'm yelling about the veterans. I'm not yelling like mad, but I was just like, hey, like, what are you doing? Why can't I get somebody to honk? What's happening in my life right now? Anyway.
I was proud of you guys regardless. I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, and yeah, thank you. And I did a couple lives, but I was literally just like running around. And then the point with other organizations, so the Be Free movement is a national organization, like a
Okay.
push, and to like help survivors and stuff. You can look it up. And also then Flatirons, where I happen to go, and they happen to be addressing human trafficking in Colorado, and which is awesome, by the way. And I had no idea they were working on it.
They've been working on it since when I left in 2000. 13 and they were working on it back then.
Oh, wow. See, and I would hear them talk a little bit, but I never knew enough about, like, when they just said all of a sudden they're like, we're going to raise 150 million. I cried because I was like, I've been working on this apparently like on my own. And
Right.
I didn't know that when they were launching, this campaign, the beef, so this one, Be Free.
Oh,
And they've got some cool ideas, you guys. So like putting safe houses every 20 miles down
Nice.
I-25.
That's
And
necessary.
yeah, so that's, I mean,
And I
so
think on the 7th, there's supposed to be like an international sex
yeah,
trafficking awareness. 'Cause I was
yeah.
invited, but I have a photo shoot. So I was like, well, I can't go to this one. So maybe next time, or, like I wanted to participate, but I'm doing something a lot bigger, like not bigger than that, but a lot, more important for me to like close some chapters and get some things done too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, and last Sunday they announced that they were gonna do they were gonna have a rally.
Yeah.
Down there. Remember from that we started talking about that, but they were gonna, as a result of the prostitution bill.
Right. They're going to do it on the 7th, which is tied all the way into like human trafficking, sex trafficking. And they want people that have been trafficked to come out, people that have been abused to come out, people that want to basically come out with their stories. Just everybody come unite, and
So
people have been like, Mindy, you're crazy for telling your voice. And I said, you know what? My story is already in over 17 countries. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I'm raw, like,
That's
don't
so
mind.
cool. Yep. So when is it? I didn't write the date down. I don't think they
The
said
7th, which is Saturday.
next Saturday.
This Saturday is the 7th, correct? Yes, it's this Saturday.
It is this Saturday. There you go.
Yeah,
You
'cause I have a
guys.
photo shoot this Saturday. So I'm like, wait, the 7th. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I wish I was here. I don't want to stay. Like, I love Colorado.
Well, I think it's in each state. I think there's in multiple different states.
Oh,
So
they're
look in
everywhere.
Florida.
Okay, and the Florida Keys, we'll see if they have anything going on. I probably would
You
be
could drive to the one that is in Florida, like wherever it's at.
That's true. Yeah, I'll look it up. Because
And it's this Saturday, and it's most likely going to be anywhere from like 10 a.m. to probably like 2 or 3 p.m.
Yeah, I'm running with Peerjoy McCoy, Unify America on Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's been running around Tampa and kind of all over the country.
Oh, if it's in Miami, I bet that they're definitely doing something.
So I'll have
to. You guys could unite right after your run, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd check it out. Yeah, if anybody else knows. Yeah, this is good. Well, and so then Xavier, if you want to jump in on that, man, like
for sure.
You fit right into the whole thing. So, invite
Yeah.
people. And then they're going to have it all organized, and you'll have already been there and kind of figured out stuff too.
And then you can bring your pad of paper and start taking names and see if you can network, connect with people, get them into your project and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and just share. And then once you share, people will open up. Because I recognize, like, when I share my story, people like either cry or they get angry, or they just are like, well, since you told me yours, let me share mine. I just open up the platform,
Yeah, totally. And just talk to people about what it is. Sometimes instead of trying to explain the details, it's better to tell a story.
Yeah.
If you have a little quick story, like, hey, there's this girl and this is what happened, or this guy, or whatever, and without giving away the details, because you don't want to tell somebody.
Sure.
But
well, and I have to be careful because sometimes I can traumatize people, and I didn't realize that. Like, people were like, "You're triggering me," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take it a different direction then."
Yeah, I know when they start pulling away, you're like, oh.
Right.
And yeah, you can tell. That's another profile thing.
They're like, "And gotta go, bye."
Yeah, they're like, they start going like. You see, they're like going farther. Sometimes they're blown away.
That happened earlier.
Yeah, and on that note, the Innocent. I had a cool opportunity to talk to the Innocent. They are a training organization. They're a bunch of law enforcement, and what they do is they train law enforcement officers how to essentially build a case and like take care of the human trafficking and sex trafficking of children
Oh, good.
specifically. And so then, I just mentioned that, hey, this is something that I feel like I'm called to do because it fits me in every way. And, and I'm fine doing it. I think it's kind of interesting. Like I get bored.
Yeah.
So this one does not keep me bored at all. And so then, long story short, I think I'm going to be applying to collaborate with them because they don't
Nice.
have somebody doing profiling. And I explained, I'm not going to do it on here because that's like kind of trade secret stuff. But obviously I can share things in the proper ways. But long story short, being able to profile or teach law enforcement how I've seen it work. And I think that's important. So I might be taking our, like another spin to doing some education with police around the country and how to
Okay.
do. And I'm not an expert in it, but I have been studying human behavior. It's like even though I didn't graduate high school, I got a GED, but I went to college for 14 years, and
Wow.
and it was all like these phases, like fire science, business. Then there was a
Right.
master's in counseling. Then there was advanced human behavior, PhD work. I got
Wow.
all the way to like the third um, chapter of my dissertation, and I was homeless in my car, and I was like, I can't write this while I'm homeless. Like I was like, I was on resilience, and I was like, I'm living it. And I was like, see you later. I'm not doing the PhD right now. I'm homeless. Anyway, and and then switching to a PhD work in disaster and crisis intervention. Um, so then it comes together and it's like, this is a disaster and this is a crisis and this is advanced human behavior. And so, I'm giving that as an example, but that's my example. And you, just like me, we have a unique thumbprint. And so like Xavier and Mindy, ours might align in a lot of ways, but it's going to look different for you,
Right.
because you're going to do it your way. Just like life, kind of shapes you as you go. And,
Sure.
so then, mine looks exactly like this. I think I'm supposed to just start these things. I'm a trailblazer, is how I see it. And I'm like thinking way back when, if you were going to take, Mindy, you can tell me about this, a little bit of the army style. Like, wouldn't you send out a scout first, somebody out front, to find, and nowadays it's like video, but just think
Well, it's
about.
intel basically, and you scout out to find out what's going on in the area, and then
Mhm,
you find out what's safe, what's not safe. Then you bring in people that are in that area, that live in that area, that want to go undercover or whatever.
mhm.
And then it just depends on what the mission is.
Sure.
I was always on the medical side, so there were things that just we were privy to the medical portions of it, and then they
Mhm.
kept us out of it because
Yeah.
what are we going to do with that knowledge? It's like, okay, you have
Yep.
a heart attack or something, like, give me a heart attack, give me
Mhm.
somebody that's bleeding. And,
Yeah, me
and
too. Yeah,
unfortunately, that's where my brain goes. I'm like,
that's
if I hear
good.
like certain sounds, I'm like, oh, I heard a clunk. Did somebody fall? Like somebody
Mhm.
down, So, I mean,
Yeah.
for me, that's unfortunately where my mind goes, and that's why I want to take that class with with what's his name, Chase Hughes,
Yeah, Chase
and
Hughes.
just
He's
try to
so good.
find out like different information that I can help communicate differently, because sometimes I
Mhm.
am very passionate, I've been told.
Yeah, that's good though. Yeah. Hey, remember, we're not, there's unseen but seen disabilities. And I don't mean, I'm using that language because that's what we saw today, and I'm reminded, and I work in the disability like field. I have disabilities too, and
Okay.
like I haven't had PTSD forever. And it does change your brain.
Yeah.
um
That
so
neurogenesis changes it, and that's why they want to do psilocybin and make it legal. And then HBOT, which
Mhm.
is hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which I
Yeah,
do. I mean, I have a
you
chamber
do
in
it.
my
I didn't know you
house.
did that.
Oh
Tell
yeah,
me. I love
I
that,
have
Mindy. Tell me. All
yes.
right.
So Misha Tate was the #1 fighter in the world at one point, and her mom decided that she wanted to adopt me. So I went to Colombia, found out about HBOT when I went over to their house, and then got into HBOT. And I was like, you know what? If this is beneficial, I'm going to talk to people about it. So then I called my publisher, and I was like, he's my really good friend. And I was telling him about it, and then all of a sudden I got sponsored for one. So one got sent to my house,
Oh,
and it's
no
like over
way. I want to get sponsored.
$30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's not
You
cheap,
deserve
you
it.
know? It's not cheap at all. But I got, my stem cells taken care of, and I got this HBOT, and I was so happy about it because it also changes the brain. And what we're finding now is if you get into HBOT and you're able to afford it, it actually gets oxygen to the brain and changes that PTSD. And I was just, my friend and publisher again let me in on this guy who wrote a book about HBOT, and he's like, why not HBOT? And to get veterans into the HBOT so that we can heal their brains. And so I'm actually in his book as one of the stories that's in there, so it's just really cool to be able to teach other people. Like, I'm doing it, like I'm literally leading by example. I'm not just saying, hey, go try this out. I've done psilocybin, I've done DMT, I've done all these other things. I was on ketamine every other day and then getting IV infusions. So people were like, you did what? I'm like, yeah, I was on a horse tranquilizer. How you doing?
That makes sense. Well, yeah, and this is good because, and I haven't shared this because a lot of what's in my head came from like intentionally taking 6 months off and just creating things for 6 months every day. And I only created things I wanted because I was sick of like auditioning all day long and then going on movie stuff, and it was like, this is boring. And
then getting rejected, and then finding out that people are just literally acting like they're your friend, and then the set's done and nobody wants to talk to each other. It's like, you're not my friend.
It's a weird process.
Not cool.
Yeah, there's a weird dynamic in there. But so one of the parts is I want to have a tier 1 facility, tier 2, just like they have in Chesapeake. I want to have one in Marathon, Florida. And I've been talking to people down there kind of periodically, like there was like this Celtic festival. I was talking to some people about it, some community members. And so they would use HBOT down there also for divers.
Okay. It helps with decompression sickness.
Yeah.
Basically, if you dive down and then you come up too quick, your brain can't handle that. So then we stick you in HBOT, so the oxygenation changes the brain and helps heal it as well. And then also we put burn victims in there so that they can heal, and diabetic ulcers, people that are getting ready to, like, if they have to have their foot chopped off or amputated, I should say, basically same thing. The medical term, but we stick them in HBOT for 2 hours is the most that you guys can do. So if anybody's doing this, do not go in there longer than 2 hours. It's not beneficial. It's not going to help you any. Not more is any better. So anywhere from like 30 minutes to 2 hours at the most. But you generally really want to do like an hour.
Yeah, see, your nurse knowledge is coming out right now, Xavier. We're taking notes over there, Xavier.
Taking notes.
HBOT. It sounds like some kind of like, robot thing, but
it's hyperbaric oxygen therapy is what HBOT is. It's really great.
Yeah. Well, the tier 1 facility that I toured in Chesapeake, they didn't tour it. I mean, it's like an open office area, let's put it that way, because there's like a common hallway. You just open it up and walk in, but on each side there's different things. Like here's counseling on one side and like psychiatry and all that stuff in the offices, and then there was like HBOT, and then there was brain biofeedback, and a bunch of everything was nervous system resetting, which is like everything that I study now is nervous system related,
right?
And which has got me to be where we're at today. Like the neurocognitive intelligence program it's nervous system stuff,
right?
And brain science, and so now, because we can learn a lot now more than we used to be able to, like faster, you can learn things faster. And but long story short, just saying, I would like to see those things exist because it has a connection also to human trafficking. And Like I've been working with special operations, military, and veterans, like active duty, and a lot of times they won't talk to me through the VA when they're active duty unless they need something
They
really
can't.
specific. Right? They're not allowed to.
Because
Like,
if we do, we get in trouble. That's literally
yeah.
like one of those things where you talk and there's some severe consequences to where you can actually get assaulted and beat up, or you can get like, yeah, it's no good, or you
Yeah.
get subjected to like getting out of the military because you spoke of
You said
something
something.
that you weren't supposed to speak about,
Hmm.
and there's people that have gotten literally killed because of what they've said. So we
Yeah.
we cannot
You're
speak
not
out
allowed to.
for
Yeah. And
your
then if you get a diagnosis too, then that messes with
medically
your,
taken out
yeah. So
because
it's,
you're called undeployable. If you're
mhm.
undeployable at any point in time, you're out.
See, that's such a backwards thing to me because like I work in this space and I did a research study. Actually, it was a regional resiliency project in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and also Battle Creek, Michigan. So a big chunk of Southwest Michigan. They had an Uber shooter come through there, and they were picking up people and killing them, including a 9-year-old little girl. And so then there was like the Century ride that it's like 100-mile bike ride, and
100-mile ride.
yeah, somebody plowed in and killed like 13 people or something like that. I can't remember the specific. But anyway, I did this
I
program.
remember that.
Yeah. And so this is one community that had, and there was other things, like there's a lot in that part of Michigan. But they've had a lot of hard things happen. And then I went in and worked with all the law enforcement and I gave them the gold standard for PTSD like testing. And it's called the
Yeah.
PCL5 and the LEC5. And so the life event checklist, you just have to have one criteria and that checks that criteria. And then
Oh, okay.
there's a bunch of like you can score up to 80 points with the PCL5, which is the PTSD checklist. And it's the 5th edition of it gets in the weeds. But long story short, just to say 80% of the officers that I surveyed had a PTSD diagnosis.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And so think about the military then. Like,
Yeah,
if it's
we're
obvious,
definitely subjected to a lot of things
here's the thing: if it's obvious that everybody probably has PTSD, then why not just start treating it that way and like give them a way out?
because if they do that, then they're monetarily wise, they're forced to like if they're forced to recognize it, then they're forced to treat it. Like when I went to Bosnia, they literally cleared my records. Nobody they told me that you weren't in this area, and I was like, excuse me. Who's got the PFC Doherty leading the Humvee? I'm like, that's me right there. I took pictures. I'm leading the group right there. That's me right there. That's me. And then basically I had to show them that I had orders. Otherwise, my records got basically burned along with
Yeah.
my friend Boone Cutler's, and he just passed away. But they were like, you're lying, this, that, the other. He's like, you know what? If you're calling her a liar, then you're calling me a liar because my records were there too. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're not calling you a liar. And then he's like, well, then don't call her a liar either.
That makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
if they diagnose you with certain things, then it took, I want to say over 20 years just to recognize the stuff that had happened, Agent Orange, and all the things that are happening like from Iraq and Vietnam and all these other things that they tried to basically avoid. And a buddy of mine created the PACT Act, and that went through Congress, and it took us so much just to prove that all of these oil tanks and all these like destructive chemicals were going inside their body and inside their lungs and all this other stuff. It was killing them. And basically he's on oxygen for the rest of his life. What kind of a life is that? And so, he's in Texas trying to make things better while he's, deteriorating. And so all these veterans are just coming out like, what do we do?
Yeah.
You can't tell us that we're all not in this area when we're all when there's a subject of like over 1,000, 2,000, 25,000, 75,000 having the same disorder. We're not crazy.
No, and then every person that I meet with, like first responder, and also like I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but everybody up here, because of your background and like what I know of you, like we don't have to talk specifics, and I don't like to actually do that, but long story short, like you get impacted, and then you have to have ways to manage it, and
Right.
and it comes back to like self care then, because I'm exhausted, and that was because I'm running around with this weight vest, but also then I came back and it was like immediately into a meeting, and then I messed up a schedule because I do that when I like, I don't know, basically I have to be watching my calendar all day long, or else I like miss stuff.
That's a lot.
And
That's mentally exhausting.
yeah, so then I'm tired, so then part of what I need is a priority, and that's sleep. That's all. I just need to go to bed, and then, and I'll be fine. But it's like listening to your body after you do something that's arduous. And I'm a big body first person, because your body will respond to stimulus before your brain, before your cognition. So like if somebody throws something at me, unless I'm like in my kung fu mode, like right now, like I was not worried about it at all. I can even see like a reflection behind me. But your body actually will respond first, and then your brain goes like, oh yeah, that's what it is. So if whenever somebody throws you something, you like think it's gonna hurt you, but it's like something soft, and you're like, why did I flinch like that? It's because your body actually like moved first. And
Right.
so then why not, when you're done with a long day, or you had a long night, or had a stressful day, this thing happened, or a sad thing or whatever, then to do what your body needs to do first, and not try to process it until you're like, more regulated physically.
Right.
But do you guys experience that? I know we're getting out of time, but did you guys experience
I
that?
have a lot of anxiety. I mean, I experienced because of my past as well. Like there's sometimes where I was telling an individual that I was speaking with yesterday who, I said, there's times where I'd be driving and all of a sudden I would have a full on panic attack. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, I can't, like, it was having struggle breathing. Here I am tapping it out, in the middle of the driving. I'm like, like it's a response. And then all of a sudden everything gets flushed. My face gets flushed, or my body gets super hot all of a sudden. And, at first I thought, oh, I'm chemically changing because I'm premenopausal. And they're like, no, it's not just it's not just because you're aging, it's like, this is for real, and I would go into certain places and I would feel like if I felt dark energy, my stomach, like literally if I'm walking in the canyon, like it happened a couple months ago, and some guy was literally on his like little scooter with he had like a machete that was this long that covered from his hip to his leg, and then on the right side he had a butcher knife, and I was like, all of a sudden my stomach and my throat just went and this other guy with his dog literally like came and tried to like jump towards us, and I was like, what is going on, and my body was definitely responsive to that. So it took me a couple days to kind of like decompress from that, because my mind was going like, if I go into the canyon, is this guy going to cause me or somebody else harm? Like, why do you need that long of a butcher knife in the canyon? Like, what's the purpose of having those two knives that are that big? And it's like, okay, my mind went to, maybe he's homeless, maybe he needs protection, making up whatever I could in my mind to just calm it down. I didn't need to know the story, but for everybody out there, if you have anything that is stressing you out in that moment, if you can change the story, like if you hear sirens and you're getting all stressed out, you can change your brain and unconsciously say, okay, well, they're going to heal or they're going to save somebody. You don't have to know the whole story, but your unconscious mind takes over, and your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and non-reality. So like when you're meditating and you're thinking about things, be careful, because what you put in your brain, it literally can shift and shapeshift you for days, to come. If that makes sense.
Yep. Hey Xavier, what do you do after a long day? Like if it's a long day or stressful experience or whatever, what are you doing nowadays?
These days, I have a ritual. I have to lay myself on a floor. Like, pretty self-explanatory. The colder, the better. But for me, it's like to feel the ground.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh.
Feel grounded. Mm-hmm.
feel the ground, like literally.
Yeah.
And
That's great, man.
art, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
always.
Exactly. Yeah. You create something. You're creating.
Yeah. Because
That's
then it's like, no matter what happens in the day, it even gets you through the day to just like be like, okay, by the end of the night, I'm gonna have some dope art
yeah.
out of it,
Right. Yeah.
regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I
And
great.
plus,
write,
it's
you know,
like,
I like to write
yeah,
poetry too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I listen for I would encourage everybody to live in the moment unless there's a reason why you need to get out of the details, like, and think about it as a camera. Like there's POV where you just kind of see everything, and then there's a headshot and the medium and wide shot and the arrow shot. And so I live in that POV moment to moment most of the day, like 99% of the time, except
Right.
for if I get into the weeds about something and I actually need to like zoom back out into the aerial view. How does this little thing that happened, like somebody flipped me off today or yesterday, I don't know, they do it all the time. And so because I'm running this way, and it's like, all right, I just smile at them usually, but when I first started doing that, I would kind of take it in and be like, ugh, somebody doesn't like me. And then I'm like, after a while, I was like, I don't even care. Who cares, man? Like, have a great day. Bye. Who cares? Bye. And so just that's a way of taking care of yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
And then,
Sometimes I wish I had that response versus reaction, but sometimes it just hits me and I'll
yeah.
like go back in attack mode and it's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Got
It's
got
easy.
baited and I ate it,
Yeah, you're catfish. You took the bait. Yeah.
I took it,
Yep.
ate it, swallowed it, spit it back out. I was like,
Yeah.
I think for
Well,
me, one of those triggers too is like
Mhm.
when you can tell somebody is like getting enjoyment or fulfillment off of like your personal suffering. And it's
Yeah.
like a literal look.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
No,
I
you're
guess
right.
that's one.
Well, and listen for those synchronicities. This is my takeaway for today, and then we'll wrap up if you guys are cool. If you have a takeaway for your day, it's always kind of nice to kind of just review like your day and end with like gratitude for something. But I synchronicities happen in my world all day long, and so today's message was to like take time away, take like not away from everybody, but like meditate, like sit in prayer, like try to figure out, isolate a little bit. And that's actually like just, and maybe it's a reflection of what I actually need and it's coming from these different people. And then I have to listen to it. I should get to listen to it. You get to
Right.
pay attention to it and then choose to actually do it. That's the thing. Cause I get so excited about stuff and then I'll just go, and like, dang, so what's your guys' takeaway for today or this week even so far?
I'm on the same line. I think my takeaway has just been I've been learning self-mastery a lot lately.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
self-propellant, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta light your own fire. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
those
$100%.
are my wise words of the day. Just learn when to light your own fire.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
beautiful,
That's
man. We're in the Undercover Dumpster Fire, baby. So
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What
I
about you,
think
Vicky?
mine is like I need to actually get out and stop
Mm.
being a hermit so much. Like there's times where I
Yeah.
just feel like I can't, like I don't know what to do. There's like certain times where I'm just like, there's nothing right now in my mind that I feel like doing. So I like hermit in and I really genuinely at those moments need to get out. I need to
Yeah.
figure out, even if it's at a park or go to the gym or somewhere where there's people, because
Yeah.
being in isolation, I put myself in isolation for 3 years. So I ended up getting a little too comfortable with that. And my brain gets a little too comfortable with that. So I have to get uncomfortable
There you
and
go.
just start, meeting people and talking to people or go to a restaurant and just randomly I've never had a problem starting conversations. I mean, since I was little, I start conversations with anybody, anybody and everybody that wanted to listen because I was a chatterbox. Won that
Yeah.
award in preschool,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. This is great though. Yeah. I mean, I will end on this, that they, if you want to practice that, just wait for the next opportunity that somebody is in your space and you have the choice to interact or not, and just go for it. Who cares? Just say something and whatever. And then if somebody calls you or whatever and they're like, hey, you want to go to the blah, 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 and say, yeah, and go for it. And then if you're like me, I always thought I was something like Batman, because it's like, all right, I went to the city, did the city thing, now I'll go back to the cave, hurry up, and hang out back in the cave, and then I'll be ready again, like that kind of thing. So and that's just listening to your nervous system, what it needs, So does this sound good? Hey, last thing is that so I won't be in Denver for a little minute, and but Xavier, Saturday, man, check out, get people to go to the Be Free, man.
Is it in Denver?
That's what in Denver at the Capitol. Is that right, Minnie?
I believe so, but you'd have to look at the Flatiron stuff. I mean, you would know better than I would, because I haven't attended that in a long time. I just know that sometimes it comes up in my Instagram, and so I'm like, oh, that's cool, like make sure that because there's I used to go in Broomfield when I was there, and that's how I met my ex-boyfriend, was through Broomfield Flatirons.
Flatirons, yep, I got you. Yeah, it's probably technically Lafayette, but that's the big one. And so it's flatirionschurch.com is the website, and then they're on Instagram too. But yeah, bring everybody there, because this is the same thing, man. It's exactly the same thing. And
and they're doing it all over. They're even doing it with the Iranian flags and American flags right now. So they're just bringing awareness about things.
Yeah, well, that's like it's meant to be. Back to the trailblazer. We're just gonna keep lighting it up, So
definitely look up some stuff, or even look at local events or something that says if it's. I would imagine that there's something in a lot of the big cities, especially Denver, because Denver's huge. Yeah,
and that's a universal thing. Like you should feel right at home there,
right?
Even because it's a church. Hey, they accept me. So that's what I always say. They accept me. So
well, they accept everybody. That's the great thing, and they'll tell you that right from the get-go.
Right? Yeah, I'm even one of their commercials too, and it says you're welcome here, and I'm like, hey, thank you. I took this literal. I feel welcome there. And,
right. And I used to some people would say, you have to dress like this. I didn't want to dress like that. I went in sweats sometimes. I would go in I would defy what you were supposed to be wearing, and I was like, oh, nobody's judging me here. Nobody even cares. All right, okay, cool.
Who cares? I know. Sometimes I'm a cowboy. The other day I was like a skater dude. It's who cares? Whatever you're feeling like is
whatever the moment is. They don't care.
I was gonna try and go one day, and I was wearing my painted pants, and I was like, I ended up going back home to change.
Well, and there's different vibes at different ones too. Like Denver is a different vibe than West out in Golden and Aurora, and they're all over the place. And then they're gonna have those safe houses all up and down Colorado.
That's gonna be great.
So that's super cool.
Especially if they do pass that prostitution being legal. I don't want them to, but if they do, let there be safe houses so that we could get people out that want to get out, or try to get them out, because it's very hard to have your pimp right there and he's watching you, and that if you escape, or he's going to bring you back somehow, or somebody's going to get you to get, you back.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I think it's they're like the front runners, really. And then today's rally was like a warm up for that. Also.
Right. Good.
So that's cool. That's tag team. We didn't even really plan it, in that way, but it's good. Again, synchronicities. There's no coincidences in my world.
Yeah, it always happens for a reason.
Yeah, it's a good one. That people be free. Yeah. What's wrong with being free? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing at all. You could be as free as you want to be, and there's no slavery anymore unless you want to choose to be a slave. I just say, and last piece, I said that 5 times now, but it's just that people that are being surviving human trafficking, surviving assaults and all that, like they are being set free. And then there's a whole spiritual piece to that, like, and you get to figure that out as you go along. Because my experience is you belong somewhere, and then you believe, and then you behave later. And it's backwards than other places you go where it's like you gotta behave first, okay? And then nobody does, and they act like they do, and it's all fake.
Right.
And so anyway, so yeah, just be real, and hey, why not be free? We could do it too. Yep. All right.
I got a big old truck in my face. I'm like, these